everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before I get started on today's video, I want to update you on the clipboard. I said in the beginning that I wanted the clipboard to be a part of the channel and we would decorate it and kind of deck it out with bling and adornments. And my best friend in the whole world, Laura, sent me our first sticker for the clipboard, and it's Inauguration Bernie. She knows how much I love memes and I love meme culture, so apparently Bernie is going to be part of the clipboard now. So say hi to Bernie. Look at him there with his mittens and his mask. Anyway, I'll try not to get too distracted by Bernie. We'll get him some friends soon. Anyway, today what I wanted to talk about in this video is my review format for books going forward. When I was being encouraged by my friends to start a channel that would be primarily book related, my biggest concern for myself was non-spoiler book reviews, because I think it takes quite a bit of talent to give a non-spoiler review of a book or a recommendation or a synopsis, something to get people hyped up to read it. Because when I talk non-spoiler with books, I gush. I'm like, oh my gosh, I loved it. You would love it. You should read it. You would love it. It was so good. I loved it. Nobody wants to watch a video like that. And I do think it's important to offer non-spoiler reviews or recommendations, because you really limit your audience if you only do spoiler talk. You know, only people who have already read the books can watch your videos. And I love non-spoiler reviews because I like to use them as a tool, as a sharing tool, when I'm trying to get friends or family to read a book that I love. And so I would like to offer non-spoiler content, but I needed something with some format, a formulation to follow. Otherwise, I would just gush. A really good example of somebody who has a lot of talent when it comes to non-spoiler reviews is my friend Yolene from Yolene Reads. She is so articulate. She is a wordsmith and her vocabulary is awesome. And by the time I'm done reading, or watching one of her videos, I always feel very hyped to read what she's talking about. And I think it's kind of interesting because she said in her channel introduction video that one of the reasons she wanted to start a booktube channel was because English is not her first language and she wanted to practice her English. But her English is absolutely beautiful and the way she describes things is just super talented. And so I will link her channel in the description below so everyone can subscribe and check her out, because that's a perfect example of just something I can't do. So what I did was I came up with some prompts and some like little check marks to go through so that I can kind of answer my own questions when I'm talking about books that I would like to recommend or just books that I've read. The first question I'm going to talk about, the first thing I want to hit is character work. I am a very character-driven reader, and it's going to be hard, unless the plot is going to have to be incredible for me to stick around if I'm not really relating to the characters, or not even relating, but just feel like they're real and they're engaging. So the first thing I'll talk about is character work. Next up will be plot. I know a lot of reading, and especially with these long stories, it really is journey before destination. But in my mind, the plot is the destination. Your character work, your world building, the magic, all of that is the journey. So it needs to be enjoyable or you're not going to make it there. But the plot to me is the destination. That's the cherry on top. And so like I said, I am a character driven reader, but if the plot is, then I'm probably not going to be that engaged either. Next is going to be writing style and pacing. Again, sometimes I don't really care so much. Like again, if I'm super drawn in by what's going on in the story or who's telling it, then I can take all kinds of different prose. It could be very simplistic and utilitarian, or it can be flowery prose with beautiful poetic words. I'll just kind of break it down for you and let you know, because some people have a strong preference one way or the other. Next will be world building and magic. Fantasy, to me, it always needs a little bit of magic, but sometimes it's just barely there. Sometimes you're gonna have a PhD in this magic system by the time you're done with book 1 because it's so systematic and detailed. So I will break down magic systems and world building. That is a very broad spectrum term, but again, it really plays into how engaged I am in the story, how real it feels. The next one is just kind of for fun. I'm calling this category, Does It Doggo? Because I love animal companions and good little dog boys, and it's not necessary by any means, but I will be much more likely to read a series if you tell me there are animals in it that I'm going to love. After that, we'll talk about battles, fights, and combat scenes. I love fight scenes and battles in my fantasy. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of straight military fantasy, but I do love when someone can write an amazing fight scene, whether it's a sword fight or a huge large-scale battle. I love a good well-depicted battle. And so some people could write it better than others, so I'll let you know what the fights are like in a book. Next up will be audio book quality. Most of the time, I listen to audiobooks. Now, as you can see, I own books as well. What I do is sometimes I just kind of hit back and forth between the two. Sometimes I tandem with a book and an audio at the same time. But more often than not, I will have thoughts on the audiobook. Very rarely do I read a book that I haven't listened to a little bit of the audiobook as well. So I'll let you know about the audiobook. How is the narrator? How is the quality, the production value, that kind of stuff? Because if you're really into audiobooks, that kind of stuff matters. And I will give you a heads up about what I thought of the audio performance. I will probably give books a rating. I haven't quite decided on how I'm going to rate books yet, if I'm going to give it a star system or a number out of 10. But I do think I will, for people who are a little concerned about, does it have nudity, sex, violence, language, I will probably tell you if it were a movie, what it would be rated, like on a G to PG-13 R scale. Just for those of you who like to kind of monitor those types of things. And then, of course, I'll let you know whether or not I recommend it. And I'm sure I'll say this in every video, but these will just be my opinions. And I always recommend that you read it for yourself. Don't take my word for it alone. But I will let you know if I strongly recommend it, if I think you need to put it to the top of your priority list, or if it's just something you can add to your future schedule. But I don't know if I'll be doing this with every book I read, but I'm definitely going to start out going back with some series that I want to talk about or I wish had some more eyes on them. But that's it for today. I just wanted to throw out a quick video really fast just to let you know that I am working on book reviews. I just had to decide how I wanted to do it. I did get a few comments on my last video asking why I didn't talk about my crystal of the day. So before I go, I will tell you what I'm wearing today. I'll get a little closer if you'd like. This is a white turquoise pendant, and it's also a vial, and so it's filled, the core is filled with frankincense, essential oil. And this was sent to me by my friend Rhonda Favano, and I'll just read to you a little bit about white turquoise. It's a very versatile stone. It's beautiful. It is an excellent balancing stone for all chakras. It is excellent for depression and exhaustion, and it also has the potential to prevent panic attacks. It promotes self-realization and assists in creative problem solving. So again, I hope someday I'll come back and do a video kind of explaining the thought process behind crystals. There actually is science there. Not everyone has to be on board with this or agree with it, but it is interesting and it might be a little more meaningful than you even knew. So there's a little bit of crystal information for you, but if you're not here for crystals, I promise I won't just bombard the channel with all of my other weird stuff that I love. So anyway, thank you for stopping by, and I hope you come back to visit Bernie and check out some book reviews. Have a great day.